stories of the weekend. And as a reminder, Manute reads the questions. Now here's ABC 15's Craig Fouhy.
Craig Fouhy now on the Right to the Guest line here on Fox Sports 910. How's your Monday going, Fouhy?
You know what? So far, so good. Not as good as yours, Rock, because, man, you're way ahead in the bracket. Man, oh, man.
Glad that you noticed that.
I'm not doing as well as you are.
Yeah, I may have to kind of let everybody know in the top of the 3 o'clock hour all about that.
You already did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having some fun because, it's ironic that 3 of the 4 guys that are in the cellar all do a sports gambling show on Saturdays here and on Fox Sports 910, and they're all struggling. So,
yeah, clearly that. Yeah.
How's your bracket? You still going strong?
You know what? I didn't do a bracket because I gave up when it went one and done.
Okay.
So I can't tell who the better teams are anymore because these players come and go so fast. It's not like the old days, Rock, where the Duke guys were staying 4 and 5 years, and Michigan guys were staying, and now it's like this kid comes in as a freshman, he's gone the next year playing in Europe somewhere. I don't even know how good they are. So look at Kentucky, right?
Yep.
I mean, who knows?
And on top of that, I think it's hurt the NBA, especially when it comes to the draft. No one cares because you don't know who these guys are that are getting drafted. And then all of a sudden, like the Phoenix Suns was like, oh, we're going to draft so-and-so from so-and-so. And you're like, who? I mean, you just don't know these guys. You don't have a connection with them. So along those lines, again, we know who writes these questions. This is somewhat of a stretch. But we're going to start you. We're going to launch this Factor Fouhy with this year's GCU basketball team. Will go down as one of the top college basketball stories this town has ever seen. Ever seen. And that includes Ned Wolk when he led all those great ASU teams back in the 80s. Ever. Factor Fouhy.
Kicking that butt.
Ever.
Wait. Ever. 1997, U of A wins the national championship. Ever. Listen, we all have such short memories these
Phoenix,
days, right?
Not Tucson, Phoenix.
Arizona's still part of this town.
This town.
There are a lot of alum up here.
That's Tucson. This town.
Well, let me just say this: the Lopes just ended their most successful season in history, advancing to the round of 32, winning 30 games. They held the lead as late as 5:24 mark of the second half against Alabama. What else? I just think they've had a great listen. Bryce Drew has done a phenomenal job 3 times to the tournament, right, in 4 years. The guy's been phenomenal. This team was great. I think they're a great story. Are they the best story in college basketball in this town? They're in the top 5 for sure, maybe top 3. I just think they're a team that nobody has really looked to, but look at what they're doing. I mean, they're in the tournament, won their first game, came back and played Alabama, the highest scoring basketball team in the country. I mean, listen, they're a good story, and what Bryce Drew's doing at GCU is phenomenal. So I'll say fact.
Fouhy, let me fire this at you then on that same subject. Then why is it that GCU's president is totally invested into his athletic program, and it appears that ASU's president doesn't give a damn?
Oh, he's jealous.
because ASU is the Stanford of the Southwest.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've heard from Michael Crow. It is the Stanford of the Southwest. We've got more things going on at ASU than any other university this side of the Mississippi. I mean, come on. This is an educational institution, not a sports institution.
That's awesome.
We're not about that.
Yeah.
We'd like to win. We'd like to win some games here and there and be competitive. We're not about winning championships.
Number one in innovation.
Business.
Yeah. Touche, Coach Fouhy, which leads me to Brian Mueller. the GCU president, Brian Mueller, needs to up the ante / salary of GCU head coach Bryce Drew in order to keep other teams from poaching him away. Fact or Fouhy?
Oh man, that's such a hard question. Manute, you wrote some tough ones today.
Yeah,
man.
buddy.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, these are tough. Because is it just money that keeps someone, or is it more to it? Is there more to that? It's like, because somebody's always going to outpay you, right? It's always like the Old West. There's always somebody faster at drawing a gun. So, it's like he's a gunslinger. He's going to be a little bit faster than you are. This school is going to pay a little bit more, maybe a lot more. So I don't know if you can get into that game and just try to outbid everybody else to keep your coach. I think give him a nice raise and say, listen, you've done a great job in your first 4 years here. We want to keep you around as long as we can, but I don't know if I'll keep you forever. So I think, yeah, you up the ante a little bit, but I don't think you can get into put all your chips into the center of the table constantly, because you'll lose ultimately.
Now we're having a great conversation right now. Craig Fouhy, Channel 15, on the Right Toyota guest line. Number 3, the pressure is on U of A head coach Tommy Lloyd to get his team to the Final Four this year, since they have underachieved under his direction the last 3 years. Fact or Fouhy?
They have underachieved?
That's what Manooch wrote.
Final
Who
Four.
wrote this? Who wrote this question?
Manooch.
Holy
I'm
cow.
talking Final Four. They pooped the bed last couple of years. They pooped the bed, Fouhy.
Hey,
Oh, my
hey,
God.
Fouhy, I know you like the TV gig, but what 1 to 4 Monday through Friday, rocking Fouhy with Jimmy B? Like, come on, man.
I'll tell you what. Hey, I'm in. I'll tell you what. Listen. Tommy Lloyd has been a head coach for how many years now?
3 years.
4?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
He's
third year.
87-19.
Okay.
87-19. The guy won the Pac-12 regular season again. The guy gets his team into the tournament. And again, I'll go back to the one and done thing. It's tough. He's recruited really well. I think they're going to win the West, and I think they'll be in the Final Four. Is there more pressure on him? I don't think so. I think they're thrilled with what Tommy Lloyd has brought to Tucson, and I think they want him around for the long term. They just upped his contract, right? They gave him an extension in the fall or late winter. He's 49. He's done really well there, making $4 million plus a year. I think he'll be fine. It's just he's had, for a guy that we questioned when they hired him. This guy's only been an assistant at Gonzaga, right? He hasn't been anywhere to prove himself as a head coach. He's done phenomenal in Tucson.
Fact or Fouhy?
Fact.
Yeah.
All right, Philly, let's move on. Let's get to some stuff.
Fouhy on the pressure. I don't think there's any pressure on him.
I
think
agree.
It's a fact that he's a great addition to Tucson.
Yes.
All right, winners of the last 5 of 7.
Oof.
Must win at least 9 of their last 11 to
Ooh.
hold a spot in the playoffs. Fact or Fouhy? No, we're not talking about the play-in. We don't care about the play-in.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the top 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Currently
I don't
coach.
think. Well, I maybe that's true. The question is, do they have to win 9 of the last 11 to stay there? Fact. Yes, that's a fact. Can they do it? No, I don't think they can. They have the second most difficult season schedule to end the season in the entire NBA. I mean, other than tonight's game at San Antonio, which they should blow past the Spurs, they're at Denver, at Oklahoma City, at New Orleans, Cleveland at home, Minnesota at home, New Orleans at home, LA Clippers at home, at the Clippers, at Sacramento, at Minnesota to wrap up. Every one of those teams is ranked with a winning record, right? Every one of them. And they're good. So I don't think they can win 9 out of 11 on that. I think they may, in fact, be a play-in team.
All right, Coach, last question. The D-backs will once again be favored to be a solid wild card team coming out of the National League West, as the Dodgers will be the favorite to win the division. Fact or Fouhy?
Yeah, that's a fact. Listen, I at 84.5 or something,
Yes.
I think this year coming in.
3.
They've got a good pitching staff. They've bolstered the roster in certain places, a shortstop, third base. They got some outfielders. Jock Peterson's fun to watch. He'll contribute somewhere along the line here this year. They're believing, they've set the standard last fall. I think they're going to be a very solid wild card team, but I think everybody's got their eyes on LA. And then you look at the Giants in San Diego, but it's a tough division, I'll tell you that. But I think the D-backs will come in and they'll be a good wild card potential team this season.
And speaking of the Dodgers, Ohtani this afternoon, what can you make of what you think is all the information you guys are gathering at ABC Channel 15? Where do you think this falls? Where do you think this lies? And from your standpoint, Coach, with all the information, how do you think this thing plays out?
I don't even know. I mean, it was funny. I was out at Ohtani's his debut for the Dodgers out in spring training when he batted in that first game, and I heard at that point that his interpreter is making over $1 million a year, and I'm like, if you're making over $1 million, why do you have to do anything else? What more do you need, right? Do you have to embezzle money or do something else? And now it's looking like some kind of a spider web, kind of a mess of a thing. So I have no idea what's going on there, and anymore anywhere, right? What's legal in American sports, what's legal overseas, I have no idea anymore, but other than it's a mess.
He's what we found out with the interpreter He's a bad gambler.
Yeah.
I mean, down
Yeah,
4 million. I
right,
mean,
right.
geez, what's the deal?
That's the bottom line right there.
That's awesome.
But you know what? Listen, I've got guys that I work with here that work in the newsroom. They bet $5, right?
Yeah, me too.
So if you're making over $1 million as an interpreter, go ahead and bet 100. Go ahead and bet 500. Go ahead and bet 1,000. Don't bet $1 million. It's like you gotta have some common sense. But I know, listen, alcoholism, gambling, those are all addictions, man, that lead to no good.
Yeah.
Lead to no good.
1 minute.
Fouhy, good stuff as always, buddy. Have a great day, man. Thanks, and
See you guys.
happy Easter
Take
to
care.
you.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
You got it. That's Craig Fouhy, ABC 15. Easter on Sunday.
Yes,
Mhm.
already.
Yes.
Yep.
Early
already.
What's early? It's usually early first part of first week, second week of April. This is a very early Easter. It's rare we get them Easter in March.
Is it?
Typically is. Yeah,
Huh.
Palm Sunday was this last Sunday.
Really?
Yeah,
Did
Did you go
Is
see
that-
Father Eric over at St.
is that always the Sunday before Easter?
Yes,
dude?
you're absolutely right, man. For those that don't know the Catholicism side of it.
I mean,
Oh,
you
man.
know I'm
Yeah.
a very active
You and I do,
church-going guy.
But these heathens here don't know.
Oh, come on.
You don't know that. Hey, Fouhy is brought to you by Twin Peaks, your college and NBA basketball headquarters, and your home for the bracket contest. We have a 3-in-1 bracket contest. So if you have already busted, we have a new one that's just started. It's our 16-team bracket. $100 Twin Peaks gift cards. It's all up at fanpick'em.com. And special thanks to Twin Peaks and our good friends at Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale, which is available at all 5 locations. This week we'll be at the Tempe location. Coming up, Casey from the CAZ Sportsbook. He'll join us to look back at the rounds of the NCAA tournament and look ahead to the odds for the Sweet 16. That's